Armored Core 6 has been one of my most anticipated games since it got announced, and I've spent the last 2 weeks playing it non-stop. Starting with the story, this is a Japanese RPG through and through, so it does the usual and starts off normal before the inevitable plot twist, and it just continues twisting till the end of the game. You play a 621, an independent mercenary who takes on jobs from the various corporations trying to gain the upper hand in the war on the planet of Rubicon. The story pretty much doesn't tell you anything major and drip feeds you info and has this kind of something is off vibe, but you won't really understand anything until the last 2 to 3 chapters of the game. My issue with games that take this approach to storytelling is because I don't know what's going on for 75% of the story. I kind of don't care until the big explanation that they do in the last section of the game, which reveals everything. However, I'll say this is the one exception, even though I was kind of like meh whatever for most of the story, but when they started explaining and giving you a lot of info, I got hooked from that point right till the end of the game. Not only that, but there's New Game Plus included, and on the next few runs of the story missions, they actually play out very differently because you get new options during a mission. So on your first run, you're hired by a corporation to take out generators belonging to their competition. On the New Game Plus run of that mission, you get contacted by the competition mid-mission to kill your allies and switch sides for double the payout. New voice lines and the mission ends differently. This blew me away because the game already had a lot of replayability with the ranking system to get better grades, but now the missions can be different. There's even more reason to replay the game because they're different endings, and your decisions during missions do affect the game ending. And I gotta mention, the voice acting is great. So now onto the real reason you're looking at this game, the gameplay. Everybody loves giant robots, and I'm happy to say if you're a fan of giant robots, mechs, and mech anime, this game has you in mind. I'll be honest, I was unsure when I started the game because it felt pretty meh. Like an hour in, I was a little bored, but once you start unlocking parts, the fun begins. There's a lot of customization here in terms of how you want your mech to play. What I loved is that it's not just extremes that exist. You can build a high mobility mech or a tank, but there's so many parts you can equip that they serve double purpose. You can have a high mobility but also go a little bit tanky if you die too quickly, or have a tank that's super mobile and hard to hit. Whatever you want, you can build it. In terms of weapons, there's the huge guns and rockets for the explosive lovers out there like me, snipers, shotguns, melee, missile rats, shields. I can keep going, but yeah, there's a lot of weapons to choose from, and for good reason. But I'll get to that in a minute. You can personalize how you want your mech to play, but also how it looks. There's a custom emblem editor, so all the artsy and creative people have been going insane. There's Kirby mechs, Gundam, and I've seen Evangelion replica mechs being posted online, and the latest one I saw was BT from Titanfall 2. But the best part is you can have those if you want. Everyone is sharing the codes to their emblems and mech builds online, and you can download and use them and even upload your own. Not only can you play out your mecha anime dreams, but you can look the part as well. Now, the reason there's so much weapons is because you can make so many builds. The movement is super smooth, and while it does get a bit annoying having to turn on auto-targeting every time, once you get accustomed to the controls, this game is super fun. Zipping around stages and firing off rockets and hail of bullets while demolishing other mechs does not get old. The thing I'll say that impressed me the most is the maps. They have a lot of depth. They're huge. Think of Elden Ring. If you can see it, you can go there as long as it's within the mission area. There's so much verticality and a lot of cover, so everyone's speed or tank builds are covered. It doesn't feel like they favored one type of build when making the maps. From climbing walking fortresses to the depths of inside a mountain base, the maps are extremely large. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, the difficulty. This is a From Software game after all, so it is very difficult. I did a whole video addressing the difficulty of the game. Card up top, I suggest you watch that too, but just to summarize that video a bit, the game is difficult, yes, but the learning curve is more so based around how well your build is suited to the situation and not how good you are. This is not Dark Souls or Elden Ring. The objective isn't to not get hit. You will get hit, and a lot, but you have to configure your mech to suit the boss fight or the mission. I struggled in the beginning until I learned which weapons are better for dealing with which enemy types. Weapons and modes are locked behind completing chapters as well, so you have to use what's there in the shop at the time to beat them. The good thing is you can sell your weapons back for the exact same price you bought them for, which helps with trying out new builds when you get stuck. However, it's not just the enemies that make the game hard. This is an RPG, and you'll have to manage energy levels and your mech's weight load, which determines what type of weapons you can carry and how much ammo you'll have. Weight determines your speed, but you can counteract this by changing your thrusters, but then you'll use more energy. Use more energy and you'll find yourself being hit more often because your thrust bar is always in cooldown, leaving you open to more attacks. You can equip a bigger engine for more energy output, but that's more weight being added. There's a lot of managing the game's systems going on here. That the gameplay you see of, people posting online and having fun, it doesn't show you that side of the game. So don't be fooled by all the cool clips you see online. The better I got at making builds, the less frustrating the game got. I will say though, bosses seemed like more of a thing I just tried to get past so I could continue having fun, because I think the 1v1 mech fights is where the game shines. I did play this on PC and I had zero issues. I played the entire game with ray tracing and DLSS on, and it looked so good. I know there was some discussion online on how this game looked like last gen. Yeah, ignore that. This game looks amazing with all the lasers, the cutscenes, explosions, and mech on mech action. This game is just eye candy. There's a lot more content here than I expected. There's over 30 campaign missions. It took about 20 to 25 hours to complete. There's also 30 arena missions, 1v1 fights from characters you meet in the campaign, and completing these awards you money and OST chips. OS tuning is a deeper level of customization, which unlocks things like boost kicks, more healing from medkits, damage mitigation, and damage output per damage type, so you can select this for whichever type of weapons you use the most. And apart from sharing and downloading other users' builds, you can save loadouts, and there's also a photo mode now. So, final verdict, the game is very enjoyable. I had a great time, and lots of other mech fans are too. However, this game is not for everyone due to the difficulty spikes and the boss fights, which leave a lot of players stuck and refunding it. If you're not a fan of very difficult games, you might want to sit this one out. However, if you're a mech fan, I'll say give it a try. If you can get past the learning curve, you'll have a lot of fun, I promise you. There's no other games on the market for us mech fans, and this one is a good one. So I can't recommend this to everyone, it's not for everybody, but to the people who are interested in it, I'll say it's definitely worth the money. There's a lot of content here and it's super fun, but that's the end of this review. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.